Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagrative, Jayamasters. Eventually, if you're sincere, you come to realize what's going on. You're conscious, you're experiencing things, the world, the thoughts, the emotions, and you're having trouble there. If you're a wise spiritual person, you don't have to find the trouble. You want to talk to somebody about, oh, this happened and that happened. You're just in trouble. You're in trouble. Why? It's always for the same reason. Because you can't handle what's happening outside. You can't handle your emotions. You can't handle your thoughts. And any combination of those are pretty messed up. Do you hear me? It's like, don't make it complicated. The problem is, Buddhists, I've been talking lately, Buddhists say work at the root. I don't think people understand what that means. What is the root? Well, I'm not doing well that somebody I like doesn't like me, or somebody I love left me. Depends on the intensity of the situation. Let's keep it fairly simple. Somebody I like doesn't seem to like me anymore. Okay? So, of course, the root of the problem is, why don't they like me? And what can I do about it? No. There are going to be people that don't like you. And there are going to be people that you can't do anything about it. And you can also make yourself neurotic by trying to make sure everybody likes you. Anybody notice that? Yes or no? Okay? So that's not working at the root. That's trying to solve why I don't like it by making the situation be a way that I like, or not be a way I don't like. It's called fixing it. That is never, ever working at the root, and it doesn't really ever work really long term. Why? The problem is not that somebody doesn't like you. The problem is you can't handle if somebody doesn't like you. If you can handle if somebody doesn't like, there are people who don't like you. They don't like how you wear your hair, they don't like your religion, they don't like what you said yesterday, you're right or wrong. All right? There are so many reasons why people don't like you. And maybe they don't like you today and they'll love you tomorrow too. Right? You just kind of wake up a little bit and say, do I want to waste my energy trying to fix the outside so it doesn't bother me? Or do I want to work on why it bothers me? That's a step closer to the root. Okay? So I call one of them trying to fix the outside so that when it comes in, it doesn't cause disturbance inside. People think that's rational. A wise person does not think that's rational. You can't manipulate everybody and everything. You don't know what they're doing anyways. You're just guessing why the person doesn't like you or what to do about it, or deciding, okay, I took care of it. You don't know anything. So trying to work on it outside so it doesn't bother you inside, I'm telling you, is a non-starter. That doesn't mean you don't deal with things outside. You deal with them because they need to be dealt with. It doesn't need to be dealt with if somebody doesn't like you. That's your problem. You're having a problem with it. That's the problem. The problem is not that the other person doesn't like you. The problem is you can't handle. There's 8.3 billion people on planet Earth. I guarantee you a whole bunch of them would not like you if they met you. And it's none of your business. It's their business. They're the one that doesn't like you. All right? Generally has nothing to do with you. Okay? So this first concept of the natural tendency is to say, it doesn't feel good inside, therefore, I need to change what's happening outside so that when it comes in, it doesn't feel bad inside. We do that all the time. Maybe you've noticed it makes you neurotic. It's a constant battle to try to figure out, what do I do so the outside doesn't bother me when it comes in? All right. And we can talk about why it bothers you, the fact I don't like you, the fact that somebody left you. The fact that, the child seems to be a little weird, they can get like that, is acting different age, or, it's just, can you handle it? That's what it boils down to. Can you handle what's happening outside when it comes inside? Simple question, right? And the answer is no. If the answer is no, I can't handle it inside, then you have to go out there and try to manipulate people, places, and things outside so that when they happen, you can handle it. And that's very difficult. Because that would bother you today, don't bother you tomorrow. One more, I told you, your inside is the sum of your learned experiences. So if I'm sitting there and I like this person a lot and I want to go out more date with them or whatever, and basically it doesn't seem to be working out, and then someone comes to you and says, "You're trying to go out with him?" He's hurt every single person he ever dated. Third date, he lowers the hammer. What date are you on? Second. All of a sudden, when somebody says, "Okay, I have to cancel the day," you're all excited. Just the day before, you'd freak out. So it's not just the other person, it's you too. It's like, it's a non-win to try to make the outside match the inside, or to get upset because the outside doesn't match the inside. So that's your first step. Do you understand what I just taught you? Do you understand the truth of it? Well, okay, but that doesn't make it feel any better. How's that? I understand it, but it still bothers me. Okay. Now, do you want to say the solution is to go out there and make sure that things don't happen that bother you? I could talk all day on that because you ain't going to do it. The mind has 7,000 things that can bother it, and the world can do 7 million things that could bother the inside. You're not going to fix it. Well, what's the alternative? If it bothers me, to learn, you ready? You're not going to like this. To learn to be okay that it bothers you. Better take my breath here. What do you mean? You just admitted that it happened outside, and I'm not supposed to fix the outside, but then it bothers me. Can you learn to be okay that it bothers you? Now you're much closer to the root, and you're much closer to solving your problem. Because if the outside can do its thing, and it bothers you, let's say to a small degree, all right? I always start with the small stuff. The driver in front of you not driving the speed limit and not using a blinker, and the weather isn't what you want it to be. You understand? Things that really are none of your business, but you still are bothered by them. The solution is to work with yourself so you learn to be okay with at least the simple things in life that you say are bothering you, but they're not bothering you. You're bothering yourself about them. That's a big difference. If I'm sitting there hitting you or yelling at you, I could be bothering you. But if the driver in front of you drives slower than the speed limit, and you don't like it, and you're not going to do anything about it, or if the weather's not what you want it to be, you wake up and you say, okay, I think I can learn to handle that. I think I can learn to not bother myself. Big difference. That's actually bothering, something's happening, it's bothering you, as opposed to nothing's happening out of the ordinary. It's raining, it's not raining, it's snowing, it's cold, it's hot, the driver's driving slow, not using a blinker. These are normal situations. Can you handle them? And you eventually catch on to say, the only way I'm going to be okay is if I learn to be okay with the fact that it bothers me. And you think, but then it's going to bother me forever. You're wrong. If you can be okay that it bothers you, then you're okay. So now when it's hot and you notice that it doesn't feel good that it's hot, you laugh at it. You look at it. I learned to work my way through it. Fine, it's going to be hot. Fine, it's going to be cold. Fine, the driver told you, I know it's Mickey, right? Let's say you're driving behind someone, it's a 2-lane highway. You can't pass well. So finally you can pass because somebody's driving really slow. So you speed it up, pass, you go down there, and about, 2 minutes later, you end up at a stop sign and they pull up right behind you. And you look at yourself, you stick your tongue out at yourself and say, see, wasn't that worth it? And you just start practicing being okay that you don't have to cause this problem inside yourself. Okay? I always use the example of the sun. Hot. People complain about how hot it is, especially in Florida. All right? It's so hot. I literally went through this back in the early 70s. I lived out here, no air conditioning. There was no air conditioning in my car, nothing. It was hot. And he'd complain, supposed to be meditating, but he'd complain. And one time I was going to get into my car, VW fan, hippie boy, all right, VW camper. I went to go into the car. It's hot out here. I was just down to right down the field down there, my house is, and he's complaining. It's so hot. Oh my God, it's so hot. Right? And so I just stopped because I've been meditating. I got some clarity. And I asked him, Mickey, shh, why is it hot? I remember this exact conversation from 1972. Why is it hot? He said, because the sun is hot. There's a sun out there and it's hot. I asked him, what is the sun? And he said, a star. And all of a sudden, there was kind of change in attitude. You don't like stars? You look at the sky that all twinkle, twinkle all the time, all over the place, right? That's one of those. That's not different. Don't call it the sun. Don't call it the sun. It's a star. And you're close enough to it to feel its heat. Wow, you're close enough to one of those twinkles out there that cover the sky if it's a clear night. There's trillions of them out there. So there's 3 billion in your galaxy, and there are trillions of galaxies of what? That thing that's shining out there that you're complaining about. And you start saying, wow, it's kind of neat. And then I said to him, okay, now you know it's a star. How far away is it? He knows this stuff, all right? And he said, 93 million miles. I said, whoa, repeat that number. 93 million miles away. How far is Miami? 360. 93 million, 360. That thing's pretty far away. And it's that hot, 93 million miles away. Woo! And all of a sudden, he's amazed by it. You start feeling attractive. My God, I have my own star, right? I told you, you do not get sunburned. You get star-burned. And there's a big difference. Who wants to get sunburned? Nobody wants to get star-burned. Me. I want to be close enough to a star. Look, we flew to the moon just recently. How far away is the moon? 300,000 miles, something like that. Start using your mind instead of to complain to have fun. And all of a sudden, I've never since ever complained about the heat. If he gets out of his car, he's old now, he gets out of the car, he feels the sun, bam, on top of him. You know what he does? He turns toward it and does this. Every single, like, oh my God, 93 million miles away, and the radiance is so beautiful. And you just, okay, what if you start doing that because it didn't feel good when it came in? You can change that. And so basically you come to the point where you say, I'm going to work on the inside so things don't bother me instead of working on the outside so that nothing ever bothers me out there, because you're never going to do it. Do you understand that? Things are going to happen out there that you don't have control over, like pretty much everything, by the way. You don't have control out there. Go yell at somebody for the way they behaved. Yeah, be careful, because if they start to behave that way, even the slightest bit is going to bother you again. I told you not to do that. You're better off saying, okay, fine, it wasn't a big deal, I'm okay with it. Then you're okay with it. You're okay with them, you're okay with you. You're better off learning to be okay than you are trying to manipulate every single thing that happens in front of you and will happen, and by the way, did happen. There are things that happened before that bother you. Well, that's really not going to change. They will never change. Why are you wasting your bothering? This is very simple. This is coming closer to working at the root. Work at that level is a much deeper and meaningful root level work. It's not the root yet, root level work, than to say, I'm going to take care of the leaves out there that keep changing and blowing around with everything that ever happens. You're not going to. And the very act of trying to, you will feel anxious and you will worry. You'll worry that something will happen outside that you can't handle. Why? Because you admitted there are things that happen outside that can make your inside not be able to handle them. So now you worry about them. Now you feel anxiety about them. You feel tension. Instead, you sit there and say, I would like to learn to handle it inside. Then I don't have to worry about handling it outside. If I could sit there and say, okay, she's weird, and sometimes she behaves in a way after work that he or she that isn't very comfortable, hey, we're fine about. It's like, fine, so be a little weird. Weird's nice. And all of a sudden, it doesn't bother you. Why? Because you said it doesn't. Or you said it does. If you said it does, it does. If you say it doesn't, it doesn't. But you have to be willing to work on the vibration that you feel inside. What does that mean? What do I mean? It doesn't feel good inside. Do what I did with the driver. Do what I did with the son. Find a way to look at it and say, hey, if you say I can handle it, I'm telling you, it won't bother you. If you say I can't handle it, it will bother you. Look at the bumps in the road. Oh my God, it's so uncomfortable. Every time it bumps. Okay, have fun, because you won't. Or, wow, it's like a massage. Just find a way to be okay inside with the way things are when they come in, instead of deciding I can't handle them, any of them. Eventually you get to the point you can't handle anything. You put bars on your windows, and you make sure you only hang out with people you know really well, and you don't care if they don't answer the phone unless it's filtered and you know who they're calling. Like, you can get pretty weird trying to control everything. Why are you controlling it? Because if it comes in, I can't handle it. Well, what if you did learn to handle it? It's a very rational conversation. And the question is, can you learn to handle it? Of course you can. How do you know? How do I know? How do I know that you can learn to handle it? Because you're the only one in there. There's no one else in there but you. So if you make a mess of it, it'll be a mess. If you learn to not make a mess, it won't be a mess. Just like your house. If your house is a mess and I go in there, there's pizza crust all over the place and roaches and things, but you don't want to live there. No one's lived there for a year or 2 years. No one else goes in there. Guess who made the mess? That's exactly the same inside. It does not have to be that way. But no buts. But it may be genetic. There are tendencies that are genetic. They're tendencies, and psychology says that. You're not guaranteed to be an alcoholic because your parents were, or this or that. It's like there's a tendency, yes. So just work with it. You'll be a little strong. You'll feel a little worse than somebody else feels. And how do you do it? I teach you all the time. How do you handle when it comes in and it doesn't feel good inside? I'm telling you how not to try to manipulate the outside so it never does that. I can't say that enough, because what everybody does. Watch our leaders, everybody. They just manipulate the outside so it never bothers them. It just gets more and more like that. Well, I don't know. Somehow they're being bothered by every single thing that ever happened. I'm talking about everybody, okay? It doesn't work. What works is the inner work that you sit there and say, okay, this thing happened. Is it reasonable that it bothered me? Or better yet, am I bothering myself about it, or is it really bothering me? I'm bothering myself about it. And if it's bothering yourself about it, how about we stop? How? It's easy. It's not easy to do, but it's easy to understand. When it comes in and it bothers you, don't lie. Don't say it doesn't bother you and suppress it and stuff like that. No, you say, look, that's bothering me. Is that reasonable? Do you want it to bother you? Not do you want it to have happened? Do you want it to bother you? Eventually get to the point and say, no, I'm much better off it doesn't bother me than it doesn't bother me. Can I do that? Yes. How? You find that when it comes in, you resist it. Anything that bothers you is because when you don't like feeling bothered, and so you push it away. And when you push it away, it magnifies, it gets stored inside, it gets suppressed, it gets repressed, because you pushed it away. And if you do that, then it keeps, and then your mind starts thinking about it. I have to put up with this and blah, 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 blah. It just becomes a whole thing, as opposed to, it bothered me, I can handle it. How? Relax. Don't resist. The opposite of resistance is relaxation. Just relaxed. You're teaching your 10-year-old boy to play baseball. You're hitting short, grounders to him, shortstop position. Every time he hits it, he turns his head. He turns his head. Well, you're not going to play very well. But he's having scared. I can't help it. You can, when I see the ball coming toward you, at least for a moment, instead of tense and turn, relax. And pretty soon he's going to be there and be able to handle the ball. Do you understand that? Because he worked with it. It's not going to say, I'm scared of it. I'm scared it'll hit me. Okay, fine. I understand. If you want to play ball, well, you better learn how to get over that. How? Learn to relax in the face of the tendency to resist. Those are all the teachings. That's everything I learned in 55 years of this stuff. Learn to relax in the face of the tendency to resist. If you can't do it with big things, do it with little things. Just start doing the scales instead of trying to play twinkle, twinkle. Okay? Just start simple and realize, I can do this. Then you do something bigger, and eventually you catch on. It's not that hard to live in there on a daily basis. We make it impossible because we're scared to death that something will happen that bothers us. And we're out there controlling everything. And then, okay, I got this together, I got that together. I remember in college, I remember thinking, you build your life. Okay, I've got this relationship, I've got this, going to be this, am I great? I've got these building blocks together. They don't stay together. You stress yourself out to keep them together. And eventually, and it doesn't take long, you don't even want them the way you wanted it before. So this whole concept of building a life that you like, wow, that what you liked when you were 20, you don't want when you're 50. And for sure, it's heck, the dolls you played with when you were 12, you don't have anything to do with when you were 20. But they were really important at 12. As I said, at least intellectually understand what I'm teaching you, right? And so you sit there and say, the problem is, I'm not bothering to relax. Will there be things that happen that I am not capable of relaxing around? Yes. But guess what? If you practice with the smaller things, you will get better with the bigger things. It doesn't happen all at once. When you're learning a sport, you don't learn it all at once. You practice. That's a key word. I don't know. Well, I guess they do. I was going to say, do spiritual people talk about that? They do. They said, did you do your practices today? And they're talking about mantra, meditation, and yoga. Those are your practices. See? Practice. So they do teach it. Good. All right? They teach you to practice working on yourself. If you practice with the smaller stuff, you're going to find out it's not that hard. It's not that hard to stop bothering yourself about stuff that you don't have to bother yourself about. And all of a sudden, you're a more open person. All of a sudden, you can deal with more things in life. So that's one step back at working at the root. That's a better route, isn't it? But that's not the route. Come on, we can go past there. Why? Something happened outside, it came in, and you couldn't handle it. So you pushed it away, you felt all upset and so on. So, like I said, the first step people do is to try and fix the outside. There's a key word, fix. Try to fix the outside so it doesn't bother you when it comes in. Yes, you better meditate on it a little bit. Keep your eyes open because it ain't going to happen. And even if you think you fixed it, you will worry that it won't stay fixed or that something else will happen that could bother you. There's no way you're controlling that outside every moment of your life to be the way the inside doesn't get bothered by it. Have you noticed? Okay? So basically now we come inside and we took a first step of working at the root. At least we're working closer to the root. We're working inside instead of outside. And the beauty of the inside is if you can learn to handle what it feels like to be uncomfortable because it's hot, you can handle it without cold. You do it the same way. It's the same relaxation. And you can learn with the driver in front of you that's not worth endangering yourself to pass when you're 3 blocks away from a stop sign. You just start learning this stuff. It extrapolates. Now, all of a sudden, you're that way about anything that would cause that level of disturbance. You can still get disturbed by other things. I give it permission. But you worked your way through that. So you're better off. Okay, so now what? Now you look and say, okay, I can handle it. Why am I getting disturbed? Why is the outside disturbing the inside? With the bigger things, medium size, we'll call it that. Not low-hanging fruit, just stuff that could bother somebody else, not just you. And you look at it and you say, because I'm afraid that it will hurt. I'm afraid that it will be uncomfortable. I'm afraid that I will get hurt. I'm afraid that things won't happen in a way that I'm comfortable. Not these small things, but just something that bothers the heart or disturbs the mind sufficiently. Okay? So what is that saying? It's saying that I can't handle what it would feel like if that happened and I got bothered by it. All right? Well, believe it or not, you got to take the next step. By doing what? Those stuff I better make sure they don't happen. No. Oh, no, you take a step inside and you say, why can't I handle what it will feel like if, I'm afraid of examples because you guys have trouble. If I am driving down the road and someone runs a light and I ram on my brakes and my car goes skidding around and thank God I don't hit anything and I'm just there, and I feel this nervousness and anxiety because I almost got in an accident. Okay, did you get in an accident? No. Do you have to let it affect the rest of your life? That which didn't happen. Be careful, because it's going to affect the rest of your life. You won't be comfortable driving with certain people. You won't be comfortable with cars that look like that one going. You'll be comfortable with lights. Wow, you be real careful. Everyone will beep at you because you don't go through that yellow light. You don't even go close. If that thing might turn yellow, you stop. I'm a safe driver. I don't know. You're scared. You're trying to avoid a situation that bothered you once. How many times in your life did you skid around like that? Once. How many times have you been driving? 30 years. Oh, I see. So you're not paying attention, are you? You let one stupid event leave a scar inside of you that now you're letting it determine your fear of the rest of life. And so again, what is it saying? What are you afraid of? I'm afraid of it hurting me. I'm afraid that it might hurt me. Not a little thing, bigger. Relationships, jobs, finances, things. They can hurt you, right or wrong. I don't want to lose my job. Why? What do you mean, why? If I lose my job, there could be a lot of problems. Well, can you handle it? Can you handle the feeling of insecurity that you might lose? You didn't lose your job. I love it. You didn't lose your job, but George did. He lost his and told you about it. Now you're weird because you think you can't handle what it will feel like if that happens. That's not the root. The root is deeper than that. You'll see when I'm finished. But if you can't deal with that level, then I'm afraid I won't be able to handle what happens. It'll bother me so much that I won't be able to handle it. So now I have to go and either worry inside and create neurosis inside, or be back out there trying to make sure I'm doing everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen because I know I can't handle it. That's deeper than the little stuff. Now it's not that you're bothering yourself about it. There is something that can be bothersome. Can you handle it? I always get to that. Can you handle it? How do you handle it? The same way you handle the littler stuff. It comes in, but you say, I love it. People say to me, but it's still bothering me. When will it stop bothering me? When you stop being bothered by it bothering you, listen to me, closer to the root. When you stop being bothered because it bothers you, the sun is hot. How do I make it not hot? You don't. You stop being bothered that you're bothered that it's hot. How do I handle the fact that I skid and stand on my brakes? You look at it and say, how many times did you drive? Well, I don't know, 7 million. And how many times did somebody run the light and you ran into your brakes? Once. Okay, and how many times is it still bothering you? Every time I drive, or anybody else drives, that's for sure. I'm a very strong backseat or front seat driver. Do you understand me? And you start looking at it rationally. You start saying, is it reasonable that I'm bothering myself about it? You can sit there and say, but if they ran the light, I could get killed. Anybody could get killed. It's terrible, all right? No, it happened once. If you can handle it, it's not terrible. It's just an event that happened in life. But if you can't handle what it felt like, it's going to bother you for the rest of your life. Do you understand that? If you can't handle what it felt like, you're going to be afraid it will happen again because you know you can't handle it. Therefore, the answer of working at that root deeper is to learn to be okay that it bothered you. How do I be okay that it bothered me? By relaxing in its face. Stick your tongue at it if you want to. You can't bother me. Or I don't care. I'm fine. I'm fine. The athletes do all kinds of extreme things that put themselves in all kinds of danger and get hurt, then they go right back in again, right? You're not going to go anywhere in life if you can't handle stuff. And so that's not just outside, that's inside. You will never, ever know deep spirituality if you can't handle what it feels like inside when you're not comfortable. Because you won't go there. And God is on the other side of that. We'll get there when we talk about the root. Well, I tell you who God is and where he is. Because he sure as heck ain't there where they're defending yourself, protecting yourself, and making sure that nothing happens that bothers you. But to sit there and say, I at least want to learn to not be bothered by these things that are bothering me. And always understand You can learn anything. You can learn anything. Don't say it's just the way I am. It is not. It's the way you let it be. Since you were young or this or that, some events happen. I'm just the way I am about car driving. You understand? I almost got in an accident once. That would happen to you, you'd be the same way. What kind of thing is that? Basically saying, I have the right to keep this and keep bothering the rest of my life and leave me alone. As opposed to saying, I don't want, notice, careful, my words. You're not saying, I don't want it to bother me. You're saying, I don't want to be bothered by the fact that it's bothering me. Whoa, that's a lot deeper. If you cannot be inside, cannot be bothered by the fact that it's bothering a part of your being, then you're almost free. And eventually it won't bother you. If you resist it, it stays. If you don't resist it, but you first have to be willing to be, I don't know what to say. People go through chemotherapy. That is not fun. You hear me? But it's worth it. So are they bothered by it? Yes. Do they quit? Not usually. Can they get healed by it? Yes. Is it worth it? It's a perfect example. You hear me? Is it worth going through it, as uncomfortable as it is, that you may have a whole life left and you're healed? Give you another one, a little more mundane. Did you know that women have children and that it's painful? Did you ever hear such a thing? That's amazing and really painful. All right? And they go back for seconds and thirds. Why? Isn't it painful? Yes. It's worth handling, going through, surrendering to, not resisting. What do they teach in Le Mans? Breathe, relax. Breathe, relax. Oh, it's the exact same thing I'm teaching you inside. If you will accept that it's not comfortable, but be comfortable with the fact that it's not comfortable. Hear me? The second logarithmic, all right? You're comfortable with the fact that it's not comfortable. Can you be comfortable with the fact that it's not comfortable? Yes, and it's way easier than worrying about anything that could happen that would be uncomfortable. You just sit there and say, I'll deal with it. I've learned to be comfortable with the fact that something happens. Oh, I haven't gotten too far yet. I'm still just dealing with stuff, right? Car accident or this or that, or somebody said something, or you have babies, okay? Fairly normal things that can happen. But we suppress them. We can't handle them, all right? So you basically come to the next step of working at the root. That's closer to working at the root. First was I have to stop the outside. It doesn't bother me. The second is, okay, I'm going to stop bothering myself that it bothers me, and that's a lot easier. And now I understand it's not comfortable, and I'm comfortable with the fact that it's uncomfortable. You said something to me, we had an argument, and it got really a lot of commotion in here, and I'm trying to fix it. What do? Do I leave? Tell him, you ever talk to me like that again? I'll never, and you don't mean it. It's just an argument. Or do you sit there and say, this is very uncomfortable, and I can handle that, and I'm going to wait until I can handle it before I try to respond? Guess which one works? Otherwise, you're taking the fact that you can't handle it, and you're using that not handling energy to handle it. That's how you decided to handle it. By yelling or throwing them out or never talking or ignoring the subject, never discussing it again. As opposed to, fine, it bothered me. I can handle, I'm a mature person. I can handle the fact that it bothered me. Because I can handle it, I can wait a little while till it calms down a little bit inside of me, and then see what's the best way to deal with it. You will always do better. Always. That clarity makes a really big difference. I get that you're actually getting it this time. All right? It's not, don't tell me, yeah, but it bothered me. Can you handle the fact that it bothers you? Not can you fix it so it doesn't bother you? Because you're no more better off trying to fix it inside so it doesn't bother you than you are trying to fix it outside so it doesn't bother you. Not a chance in the world. Your mind's neurotic. It'll think of something else to bother you, if you haven't noticed. Or if you decide, this is how I can make it not bother me, then I'm going to say, no, that's not going to work. I tried that before. Well, we tried that. No. You're going to the part that's bothered and asking it, how will you not be bothered? No, everything has its own vibration. So something that's bothered, I don't want to go to something that's bothered and ask it how not to be bothered, because it doesn't know, or it wouldn't be bothered. I want to step back more to the root. I want to step back inside, notice, whoa, that argument bothered me. My mind's going crazy. The argument never ended. It seems to be still going on in my mind for another hour. Okay, I call him him. He got bothered by it. He in there that I have to live with. I get to live with. Truly, I get to work with. All right? But he got bothered. So now his heart hurts and the mind's crazy. I ain't touching that. There's no way. Right? The best you can do is try to fix it and cause trouble and so on. So instead, you first relax. It always is about relaxing. It's not about getting rid of why it bothered you. It's about relaxing through it bothering you. Do you understand you can do that? Like right now, you can't do it about some stuff. It gets too big and you lose your center. You get angry, you get jealous, you get scared, or the fear comes up and you can't handle it. Okay, now we're deeper. We just said, can you be comfortable with the fact that it's uncomfortable? Literally, can you be comfortable with the fact that it's uncomfortable? You can. You're back in there. But if you pay attention that it's bothering you, then you're lost. Okay, so what about if you can't handle it? You do the best you can, can't handle it. I always tell you, I always give you this out. It's not even an out. It's a way of working through. Well, what happens if somebody yells and screams and I'm trying to handle it and next thing I know, I'm yelling and screaming back? In other words, no, I wasn't comfortable with the fact that it was uncomfortable. And nice you told me I could be. I wasn't. Okay? You know anything about that? So what do you do then? You fell. It's okay. You're riding a bike. You fall. That's good. You learn the balance by riding and falling. You learn how to stay centered when you don't be centered. You fall off. Okay, I see what happened there. Then you come back, and when I beg you, especially with spiritual egos, it's hard. When you come back from having fallen, from having not stayed in that clean place that you handled it, and you realize you didn't handle it, well, what should I do about that? Accept it, honor, respect it, don't feel guilt, don't feel shame, because that does nothing but put another layer of can't handle it on top of can't handle it. I can't handle it, now I feel guilty about the fact that I couldn't handle it. I'm ashamed. I should have been able to do better. You did your best. Did you do your best? Yeah. But I could do better now. I could have done better, right? You're playing the scales, and you make a lot of mistakes on the piano. Now you play much better. I'm ashamed about the fact that I made all those mistakes. That's why you play better now. You learned. You get to learn. But what I'm doing is just taking normal, logical stuff, but I'm bringing it inside. And you're not used to doing that. You used to just immediately protecting the inside. No, I can't feel bad. And no, I can't handle it. And no, I can't play the piano. And no, I can't play tennis. Leave me alone. Instead, I can learn. A whole nother attitude. But while you're learning, you're not going to get it right. You can't possibly. So don't ever look back and judge how you were. If you're just doing the best you can each time, and the best you can, then honor, respect the growth that comes from learning what it's like to fall, learning what it's like to not have been able to handle it. You'll feel more committed next time. Okay, I think I can do better. Look at the consequences now. We're all screwed up. It's just, that's how God teaches you. That's how the universe teaches you. All right? And so you get better at it. And then there are less things. We're working more at the root. The root is every time your ability to handle it. The root was I couldn't handle what he said outside. I stop it. I couldn't handle what it felt like inside. You stop it. I couldn't handle what really bothered me inside. Each time you got past that layer by saying, I'm going to go deeper even if it bothers me. The name of my game in life is not supposed to bother me. Now let's go deeper. Now it's not happening. People say to me, God stepped in and started giving me all this grace because I practiced this stuff. You can look at it that way. I don't mind at all. Or you can sit there and look at it. You let go inside yourself. And so less and less things can bother you. And now you say, isn't life nicer? Look how nice it is. Doesn't mean there's not God. I'll get there in a minute. But by letting go of your resistance, you are getting closer to God. That's just how it works. The deeper you go inside, you start to feel the Shakti. You start to feel energy opening up inside of you. Why? It's always been there. You've been blocking it and wasting it with all the stuff you're doing in there. to try to protect yourself, to try and handle things, to try and stop everybody from doing anything that could bother you. The great saints taught this, all the great ones. You have to be able to handle life. Not they try to make it be the way you want so you can handle it. You know what's going to happen. Just, okay, I can handle it. So now we're back much further inside. And again, I said to you, what does it mean to go to this next layer? Not that you don't feel uncomfortable. You are comfortable with not feeling comfortable. Can you get comfortable with not feeling comfortable? I can handle it. The deeper you can go, not trying to make it so you're not uncomfortable, but being comfortable being uncomfortable. God, I've never really nailed it at you like that. Can you be comfortable being uncomfortable? Of course you can. If the reward is big enough, like having the baby, or bothering to go to a marriage counselor because we're not getting along, it's worth it. We made a commitment. You're uncomfortable, but you've got to be comfortable enough to be uncomfortable to go to that counselor. So basically, you learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the more you're comfortable with being uncomfortable, you're comfortable. Notice the root was, I'm now comfortable. How would you like to wake up in the morning and realize, I don't know what's going to happen, and I know I'm not done, there's stuff, but guess what? I can handle it. I can handle no matter what's going to happen today, because if it makes me uncomfortable, I've learned to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And you get better and better at it. I'm telling you, that's the deeper work. Right? Is that the root? No, we're not at the root yet. We're close. That would be really neat, to be comfortable being uncomfortable. The next step is you look and you say, what is going on in there that is making me uncomfortable to start with? And it is always the same thing. It's a 4-letter word. It's called fear. That's what's at the root. You're afraid of someone not liking you. You're afraid of getting hurt. You're afraid of the jam on your brake and what could happen. You could have gotten killed. You're afraid that something will happen that you're not comfortable with. A relationship might get, understand? Fear is at the root of all. Do you understand that? It is always fear. Fear is at the root. You don't see it because it blossomed into, if I lose my job, I won't have the money necessary. My wife might leave me, and I don't know. It's called fear. Why don't you just say, I'm afraid? Instead of using all these words to describe every single situation that might make you feel fear. What if you didn't feel fear? You wouldn't have a problem. I'm not afraid of losing my job. Let's work it through. I'm not afraid of losing my job. Why? You might not have the money to stay in the house where you are. I'm not afraid of not staying in the house where I am. I'll be fine. I know beings like that, very high beings that used to live in very mansion-type situations, right? Things change. They live in a trailer, okay? They don't even know the difference. You're inside. You're not outside. Your outside conditions don't mean anything. Do you understand that? Well, but I like to drive a nice car. I feel important. Why? Because if people see me in some old car, I don't feel important. I don't feel comfortable. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of people not respecting me. Hey? So you're so into it that you can't imagine that I just said to you, I'm afraid of people not respecting me. Of course I want people to respect me. Why? Because if they don't respect me, I don't feel comfortable around them. I can feel fear in the presence of people that don't respect me. You're going to watch, and I'm telling you, the root is fear. It is fear. Can anybody hear me? Do you see that? It's fear down there. You paint it with lots of paintbrushes. What is jealousy? What is it? Fear of loss. Fear of losing something that you think you need and that you won't be able to handle it. Now go deal with, how do you want to deal with it? I don't know, hire a detective, yell and scream, and you think you're solving it. You're not solving it. You're feeding it. Instead, you come, I've got you all the way back now to the root. All right? It's not the ultimate root, but the root you're going to see down there behind all your emotions. Does the mind constantly think of problems? It's always thinking what could go wrong. What did I do? And it's having trouble that happened before. It thinks about what happened before. Oh, God, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I feel so bad about that. Well, that was in 5th grade. You feel bad about things you did in 5th grade. It's fear. Fear this. How about the fear that someone will find out something you did in 5th grade? Wow. Wow. I could give you a whole lecture on it, but I don't want to. I think you're wise enough to see the root down there of all that personal junk is fear. And then you built a house around your fear of how to protect yourself and what's reasonable, what's not reasonable. And there's every single thing. And you're out there trying to not feel fear. Well, what if you get to the point and you take a breath and you say, well, if the fear inside of me is what's screwing up my entire life and has screwed up my entire life, determine what I can do, what I can't do, what I can say, what I can't say, what I can wear, what I can't wear, who I can marry, who I can't marry. Do you understand that? It's just everything is the projection of that from the root out. It's running everything. What if I learned to handle the fear? I told you this the other day. I've never said it before. People talk about being fearless, right? Masters talk about being fearless. And they sit there and say, fearless doesn't mean you don't feel fear. You're not afraid to feel the fear. You're not afraid of the fear. That's what we've been talking about. Can you handle what it feels like? When you're down there at that point and you sit there and say, there is fear down there. You want to analyze it? Fine. You want to find out where it came from? Okay, good luck. And so basically you look and you say, I need to be okay with feeling fear. That is very deep. That is very close to the core, that statement I just said to you. I need to feel okay with feeling fear. Now I don't have to fight the fear. I don't have to be afraid of feeling the fear. I'm okay feeling the fear. And I'm going to tell you a secret. What I've seen is that life is trying to teach you to be okay with the fear. How do I know? Because it keeps bringing fearful situations. It keeps dumping on me things, unbelievably big things that make me afraid of. And you have to go through them and you have to decide, do I want this to ruin my life? Or am I willing to honor this and respect this as a growth experience? That's a growth experience. Oh, those guys who read the Surrender Experiment, read that last chapter. Chapters, I mean, oh my God. Like life puts you through and you have no reason why or anything. And things happen in life. They're not fair. They're not just. They're not right. They're not wrong. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just what happens. And guess what? They're for your growth. If you use them that way and you look at it and you face it, and you sit there and say, God, that's a lot of fear that it puts in there. I better handle it. And you decide, I will work with it. And somehow God helps you. It helps to go through this stuff. I told you once, when your deep spiritual growth are as follows: been there, done that. Ever get married thinking we'd be together forever and then get divorced? What was that like? I hope it was a growth experience. I learned a lot. And when I look at my ex, I don't want to go hanging out with him anymore, right? But I don't throw darts. I feel a respect that is a growth situation I was put through, and I grew, and I'm a better person for having gone through that. And you quietly pranam and say thank you. That's what it means to learn how to be comfortable with fear, all right? So is that the root? I've told this a few times. When we had Passover, and when my daughter was younger, she lived out here, of course, was maybe 12, 13 years old. And I'd always grab the Bible or grab something to find something new, a little bit, a quote or something to talk about. And so we were looking through the Old Testament. And all I'm saying, I was looking through Genesis, and I saw a part that I will never, this is 20, 30 years ago, I'll never forget. It said like this: once man was thrown out of the garden, God took a cherubim with a flaming sword and set him at the east gate of the garden, lest man learn to break back into the garden and eat of the tree of eternal life, like he ate of the tree of self-knowledge. So you say, well, there's this cherubim down there blocking you from getting back to God, right? Ever felt it? Have you ever felt that something was pushing you into an abyss that was so uncomfortable, that was so scary, that you fought like hell to not have to go there. Anybody? God didn't have to put a fearful situation down there. He put fear down there. As opposed to a situation that caused fear, he put fear. So you didn't get back into this garden. Well, why doesn't he want you to get back into the garden? He does, but you have to be able to work through that cherubim with the flaming sword. Otherwise, you're going to take your whole ego. Oh, I made it to the garden. Aren't I great? Look at me. So you got to burn through your stuff. And the essence of burning through your stuff is I can handle the fear of the fear. Then you can walk right through. So to me, I never forgot that read about that cherubim. That heart hurts and it's burning. That's that flaming sword. Guess where I'm going? Away from it? No. I'm going through that sucker. I'm walking through that. How? By relaxing every step. Just relax, relax. And if you relax, there's no resistance. The next thing you know, I've been through that, right? It gets so hot, it gets like white hot in deep meditation or something, right? And then you pop, I'm not talking about that. It's called piercing the heart chakra. You pop through to the other side. Now you're closer to the root. The end result, the root is self. You are the root of the whole universe. You are who's in there. You're the ones feeling the fear. You're the ones running away from the fear. At some point, you relax your way through it, and that is what it takes to go to God. That's what it means to break through and be liberated and be free. Right. So we've worked our way. I hope I did it very slowly this time. Do you see it matters what level you're working at? If you're working at the level I can fix it, have a good time because you won't. If you're working at the level I can handle it, then just keep working deeper and deeper of what you can handle. You want to go through growth. You love your problems. They would make you handle them. Not, I wish I didn't have them. They're opportunities to grow. They're not problems. They're growth experiences. What is everything? You drop down onto the planet Earth, tiny little ball in the middle of nowheres with so much going on. It's amazing, isn't it? Can you handle it? That's so silly. It's like, I'm sending you to Disney World. Can you handle it? Well, of course, lots of them. No, I can't. The lines were long and it was hot. And they didn't feed me vegan food either. And you couldn't handle Disney World? You can't handle Earth? Go to Mars instead. No. Where do you want to go instead? Hey, we got telescopes everywhere. Where do you want to go? To the burning stars that burn you up, to these near-Earth planets that have no atmosphere, you can't breathe, there's nothing happening at all. Come on, man, wake up. You land on a really nice place. Can you handle it? That's what you do. You expand it out. And not only are you going to handle it, then you'll catch on. And you'll say what I teach you all the time. Earth is a place that souls are sent to evolve. Earth, this little thing in the middle of nowhere, is a place that souls, that you in there, are sent to evolve. What does it mean to evolve? To become liberated, to be free of fear, to be free to live your life and express and expand and serve, not to block yourself with your stupid fears and adjust everything so you don't have to feel your fears. Just welcome it. All right. Thank you. I had a deep talk. You hear me? Pay attention. You don't want to be locked in the prison of your fears. Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.